All right there. Hey, my data lovers, and welcome to another I Love Data Fridays here at the International Data Evaluation Center on the campuses of The Ohio State University. And ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful Friday it is for I Love Data Fridays. And I'm so happy that you chose to spend it here talking a little data today. So, hey, who's talking data to you today? Well, you've got me, Jeff Breimer-Brashore, Director of IT and Operations here at the International Data Evaluation Center. And today, if you have any questions, you can send those questions over to www.slido.com and there plug in that event number, and I will see your questions right on the screen there. Realizing myself, so I'm that real quick. But I'm so glad you all are here today on I Love Data Fridays. Slido.com up there real quick. That maybe I should have a checklist for myself. All right, so here I got it going. I can see that and everything. So, hey, what is our quest, our data quest today? What are we going to be talking about? Well, you might have seen in the recent Journal of Reading Recovery, the Spring Journal of Reading Recovery, this 2018, Dr. Richard Romax wrote an article that's called Examining Outcomes for Special Education and Reading Recovery and Descubriendo la Lectura. So, it's a research brief. He's been doing some research briefs lately in the journal, and in that journal, he talked about or showed some calculations on how each academic year over the last 5 years, Reading Recovery has potentially saved $60 million in special ed costs. So now I'm sure some of you are thinking, geez, can I show that kind of, maybe not $60 million, but can I do this myself and show how that maybe my reading recovery implementation is saving money? The answer is yes, you can. That's what we're going to do today. We are going to go over how you can do that yourself. You're discontinued. All right, so folks, let's get ready to talk a little data. I love Data Friday! All right, so here we go. We're going to talk some data here. So to do this, we need a couple things. First, you need table 7.2 is the it's the one titled Reading Recovery Students Who Special Education Service During the Year. So it's the table that looks like this in your report. I have a copy of 7.2 right here ready to use. So we're going to use table 7.2. Right. The next thing you need is the cost per pupil for a regular education. All right. So this is probably something that you will have to go and find out from someone in your school. What is the cost per pupil in special education? We are going to use, for this example, the numbers that Dr. Lomax used in his article, I'm going to grab those real quick. Article here. Next. There we go. Let's get to the references part of the article. He used information from the National Education Association. There's the website. That brought up the link to the website. And so for us, we're going to use the numbers there. So current average student cost is $7,552. So that's the value we are going to use. And then we also have to use the cost per pupil in special education. Go back to the article that Dr. Lomax. That right here. So that is 1,900. So on average across the United States, costs about $16,900 per pupil in special education. All right, so you'll probably have to get those two numbers from someone or somewhere within your school district. Um, if you can't find, say, the special education cost, Dr. Lomax gave me the suggestion that in general, if you can just find the regular special education or the regular education costs, special education is about $10,000 more. So that's just an easy way to do an estimate. So like I said, you'll need to get that from an internal source. So to do this, the first thing we have to do is we have to calculate the decrease in children needing special education before and after reading recovery. So that's how we're going to use table 7.2. That. And then finally, we will calculate the difference between regular ed and special ed per pupil costs, which are the costs we looked up there before. And then you multiply those results together. That gives you your potential cost savings for your special education. That's right. And then we just multiply the answers from last bullets. All right. So we are going to do the first step here. That's calculate the decrease in children needing special education before and after reading recovery. So like I said, this involves table 7.2. I'm also going to get up here a little tool to help me do annotations. Bring up table 7.2. So specifically, folks, what we are going to be using are data that go triangles. We're going to use our data from right here in our table. So you'll notice the special education table, it breaks down information by different end of program statuses. So we've got our discontinued, recommended, incomplete, none and above. And then we're specifically more concerned, we're going to be using this section about when special education services were initiated. All right, so for our discontinued children nationally, about 1,407 students were in special education before reading recovery. After reading recovery, 106 kids. So we are going to up our handy dandy calculator. So essentially, folks, what we're doing is we're going to subtract 1,4027 minus 146. Difference. That real quick. Calculator. Hello, Mr. Calculator. Like I said, I'm going to do 1,407 minus 146. Sign. So that leaves us with the value of 1,200. For it later. Up a little bit. Okay, no, just okay. So that's it. That's all we need. 7.2 out of the way. Nope. Hide Mr. Calculator for a second. All right, so next we are going to calculate the difference between regular ed cost and this is where you will look up your information. We are going to use that Dr. Lomax used for his article, which was found on this website right here, the National Education Association website. And we are going to up our calculator. We are going to subtract 16,900 minus 7,552. This is the cost per special education pupil, the cost per regular education. 16 minus 7,552, 9,369. Now, this was actually figured out for us in the article right here that said there's a difference in 9,369, but it's always good to do the math, try it for ourselves. So let's make a note of that. We're going to take that value here, 9, so I can remember that for later. Okay, got it. Our next slide. So now we're going to calculate the final answer. And to calculate the final answer, all we have to do is multiply numbers together. So we're going to multiply 1,261 by 9,309. Let's get that. Times 1,369. Hit enter. 11,814,300 dollars. So we just did the calculation for 1 year. Dr. Lomax's article, he did the calculation over 5 years. So we did it for 1 year. So in 1 year, reading recovery is potentially saving in special education costs $11,809. So you can do it this same exact way. Now, I want to offer some suggestions here. Let me clear first out of the way. That I like to say I would recommend using the language of potential savings. So we are potentially saving districts almost $12 million a year in special education costs. I would avoid saying that we are exactly saving this amount of money. It's really hard to know exactly what we're saving, and it might be hard for you to dig into school records and find out what you're exactly saving. But I would, there is this potential, and the potential is high for this amount of savings. And I think Dr. Lomax does it very nicely in his article. Since this potential is really high, it would be wise to consider these savings when costing out reading recovery or DLL in a school or school district. So once again, it would be foolish not to look at this because high potential amount everything. So, all right, folks, that's it. That's how we calculate some potential savings using our table 7.2, and then your local school district information about the cost per pupil regular education, cost per pupil special education. So I'm just going to wait here for a second if anyone has questions for me. Since this is around the time of the Teacher Leader Institute, while we're waiting to see if any are rolling in. If some of you are going to the Teacher Leader Institute, I will be doing 2 presentations. One is called Closing the Greater Gap. That one I've been doing at conferences, and it's targeted at school administrators, and it's contains practical advice for supporting reading recovery. Now, what I'd like to do at TLI, at the I'm not going to stand up and give the presentation. Actually, contains a lot of information that have given to me. I've backed up those claims data. What I'd like to do is gather some work groups in there, try to turn that presentation of like a talk with them with talking about practical ways of recovery. So if you want to come help me make a nice little tool for you guys to take with you, take visits, that would be awesome. I'd love to have you do it. The next thing we have is our IDEC update, and that's our usual update about things that are changing from year to year. And I'll also be showing some examples of data requests that teachers example of a data request that teachers have been making and using. I'm actually going to be showing this once again, how to calculate right, folks, I'm not seeing any questions roll in here. That's fine. You know what? It's out. I bet everybody just enjoying a beautiful Friday day and not worried about data. So what I'll say is, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining me for another I Love Data Fridays here at the International Data Evaluation Center, and we will talk data. See you later.